It's interesting getting into the animals that are mentioned in the Book of Mormon. It's interesting in that the Jaredites talk about herds and flocks without really mentioning the kinds of animals that they were bringing over. We don't know what size the barges were. We don't know what they were capable of carrying in terms of how many or how large. Theoretically, they could have brought cattle over with them. And as I started thinking about it, they wouldn't even have had to brought adults, because adult cattle, adult horses, whatever, would have taken up more room. They'd have eaten more food, and so it would have made sense to me. If they wanted to bring them, they would have brought smaller, that is, young individuals over, and let them mature once they got to the New World. In terms of what may have been encountered, okay, let's say they did bring some over, and that's a possibility, because in some of the caves in the Yucatan Peninsula, they find bos taurus, which is the domestic cattle, in caves there associated with human artifacts well before the time of Columbus. So that's a possibility that they were brought over then. Another possibility is, in terms of cattle now, is that there are native cattle here. The bison is a type of cattle. There are more than one type of bison that would have probably been available to them. Also, there's what's called a scrub ox, and there's an extinct form, but it could have lived until the time of the Jaredites, as well as a woodland ox. And so there's all kinds of possibilities. And again, we get into the translating of words. When the Spaniards came, when they first were introduced to bison in the New World, they called them vacas, which means in English cows. And so, again, you get into word translations, but two things. The Jaredites could have brought some over with them, or they could have found them, and that is, the bison are a type of cattle, really. Yeah, you mentioned the Loltun Cave. I don't have dates offhand, other than I know that they were pre-Columbian, and some of these, I think, go back actually even a few thousand years.